Sorry, I got a phone call. So, almost this one.
Felt like I've been power washed. I felt so at peace. I couldn't help my son that night, but I have someone here that I can help turn his life around, do better. Timothy says, she said she forgave me. It was a relief because I really hoped she would. Miss Berquist, I told him I forgive him for what he's done, and I do forgive him. I can't forget what he did. I live with it, but I do forgive him. Then in last April, the two met again. This time it was at a victims awareness event at the prison in front of inmates. She called me her friend, Timothy said. She called me her friend. A woman forgiving her son's killer and calling him her friend. At the end, she got up and gave me a hug. You just don't see that too often. So this is the healing. This is really responding to the call when we move. The way we move from the horror about our world to being part of the healing is really listening to that call that please teach me about kindness, that lets us deepen our attention and ask, well, what's it like for you? And then to extend kindness through our actions to widen the circles. It says, child developer and researcher said, this is L.R. Nost, do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go. Love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. I sometimes frame it as a trance that we're all evolving or awakening out of. And there's going to keep on being pulls of forgetting for every one of us. It's not our fault. Pulls where we move around the world feeling like my friend did, that we're acting like we're caring, but we're not. That there's a lot of self-centeredness or judgment. And there's going to be that part of us that has that kind of a prayer, like, please teach me about kindness, that cares about caring. They're both there. So I'd like to end with a very brief meditation where really we're, again, turning towards the most awake part of our being. We begin this meditation with the words of Stephen Levine. He says, we walk through half our life as if it were a fever dream, barely touching the ground. Our eyes half open, our heart half closed, not half knowing who we are. We watch the ghost of us drift from room to room through friends and lovers, never quite as real as advertised, not saying half we mean or meaning half we say. We dream ourselves from birth to birth, seeking the true self, until the fever breaks and the heart cannot abide a moment longer as the rest of us awakens, summoned from the dream, not half caring for anything but love. So we begin this closing meditation by sensing what the words are in your heart right now, the most awake part of your heart that are calling you to love. It may be, please teach me about kindness, or please may I awaken to loving presence. Please may I love without holding back. What's the longing that feels sincere in you right now?
Please may we defeat the Zionists and get them out of the United States and of the world. Please.
And from that place of sincerity and longing, bringing to mind someone who you care about, that you'd like to be more awake with, that you'd like your loving to be more awake with, you'd like to remember more. Bring that being close in and take some moments to sense their vulnerability. What's life like for you? What's hard that's going on right now for this person? What do they need? What flavor of loving? Is it acceptance or forgiveness or a listening presence, affirmation? Sense yourself embracing, offering. And seeing past the mask of all conditioning, seeing the goodness, what you cherish about this being. As Thomas Merton says, the secret beauty, how it shines through this particular person, in their humor, their brightness, the way they show love. You might mentally whisper the words, thank you. Just that honoring of the sacredness that lives through that being. And bringing to mind someone else that you don't know as well, that may seem different to you, someone that's in your circle, in your life, that you don't know so well. And in some ways, it's different enough that you're not that familiar. And in the same way, to imagine and bring that person in closer. Just sense what this person might be struggling with, what the challenge or vulnerability this person's living with.
Oh, man.
What's it like for you? What this person might need, what kind of loving expression, smile or touch, kind word, might help this person feel more belonging, more at ease.
They did a straight up exorcism.
And sense your heart holding, embracing this being. And also beholding, sensing how goodness, sacredness lives through this being. Sensing the uniqueness and sentience and aliveness and goodness flowing there.
People treating our
And
society
again, a thank
to
you,
be
or again, namaste, or some honoring of the secret beauty.
murderers. Like, you're out of your minds. You're out of your absolute minds.
And widening that heart space so you're including the person that is close to you and you don't know so well. Sensing you're including your own self and all beings now.
No, our society is not listening to Elon Musk.
That senses the vulnerability of all living beings and the sacredness, the goodness that shines through.
That's not happening. Our society is not listening to Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff and Howard Ludwig and Steve Miller. We're not becoming degenerates. They came from a degenerate place.
Our life as if
they can
take
their degeneracy back with them.
Until the fever breaks and the heart cannot abide a moment longer as the rest of us awakens, summoned from the dream, not half caring for anything but love.
Not here. Not here. Zero tolerance policy. Zero tolerance policy for bots. Zero tolerance
May all
policy.
beings realize this loving presence as source. May we live from loving presence. May all beings awaken and be free. Namaste and thank you.
They say your beast is a
Love the sound of bells. So yeah, we can't. We're not bringing ourselves to the level of people like J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk and Elon Musk and Howard Ludwig and Larry Ellison and the Wickoffs. Okay, you people are out of your minds. All those people are going to go to hell, but before they go to hell, they need to go to prison. Okay, we're not going to let them rain terror on earth just so the Lord can put them in hell upon their deaths. We're not doing that. All their lies, like, Okay, you lie, you steal, you cheat, you murder. You're going against all the commandments of God. So you're going to go to hell. And people who deserve to go to hell in the afterlife do not need to be in the public during our life. Swear to God, like, you should be chased down. Chased down. So anyway, I'll work on this in a second. You're not going to terrorize us while you're here on earth when you're going to go to hell in your next lifetime. I'm not going to listen to you pathological liars talk to bots in front of the public and to reassure yourselves that your crimes are legitimate when they're not. So, no, get rid of them, get rid of all their shit. It's not happening here. It's not happening here. Alright, so let's see if we can do a quick meditation. Did we talk about courageous effort? Okay, so let's talk about courageous effort. So, obviously we have a group of Satanists who are using our military and who are stealing our money and who are committing crimes around the world. So, we're going to talk about the courageous effort that is needed by us, the people, to combat these pathological liars. So here we have Indra, the Buddha, the Godhead. In Greece, this was Zeus. It says to show up and take charge. Indra is the qualities that help us control, take charge of our life and our practice. So that's Indra, is the qualities that help us control, take charge of our life and practice. Infuse, enliven, given strength, calling upon a capacity for inner strength, for inner power, to live without hate, without greed, without conceit, without wanting to dominate other people or to be aggressive, but a power that also keeps us from being weak, succumbing, collapsing, or running away. Indra, effort, Vira is the second faculty, is our power and strength. Heroic effort is so that we don't give in to being weak, complacent. To acquiesce our clinging. Like, you have to understand, like, they want us to cling. We have to be free. We have to be free. They want us to cling to all of their ideological BS. But we are free. We are free. We are sovereign. We follow our own internal compass. We follow our own brain. We follow our own heart. We follow our own minds. And we don't allow anybody to interfere with this sovereignty of our human capacity. We do not acquiesce to our clinging or our attachments. We do not give in to the 5 hindrances. Hindrance, ill will, hostility, aversion. Ill will has power. Anger has power that can feel volcanic. The way it moves through us. Heroic effort is to not give in to that volcano in a way that causes harm. Courageous effort not to cause harm to oneself or to others. The energy of anger is to channel the energy of engagement. Vitality that is there is part of the reason that some people like anger, because it makes them feel alive. But we can take that alive energy and let go of the hostility, but keep the energy. Then it's available for heroic effort. Let's not yell at anyone. Let's show up. Let's be present. Let's not be hostile with body, speech, mind, and to do that to ourselves, not to succumb to these forces inside that debilitate us, deprive us, and harm us. The 5 faculties, faith and confidence, sets us on the course of practice. 2, heroic effort, be serious. This is what I'm going to do with my faith. There is no doubt. There is only clarity. That is what I'm going to do. Doesn't mean we are in a hurry or that we strain or that we're discouraged by not making progress, but an embodied way of saying, yes, I can give myself to this. These values, this way of living, this approach to life, I'm going to avoid any causing of harm, and I'm going to do that heroically with courage. The forces of distractions that we're dealing with in meditation are the source of comforting, a running away, and avoiding of what's really happening, which is why I look at our society as our media and these people are so weak, because they do not confront reality. They run away in the comfort of avoiding what is happening. They're just terrible. And it's harmful for us to avoid and not show up honestly for ourselves. If you support the Trump administration, if you support the Gaza genocide, if you support Elon Musk speaking to bots, and the bots, and him thanking bots for thanking him for putting us all in debt with their criminal financial schemes, you're not being honest to yourself. You're not being honest because you're because you have like fandom or something. Not that I think anybody likes these people, but you're avoiding what is actually harmful and will ultimately come back to you to harm you. Sometimes the meditation practice is sitting in the fire, showing up to what is very difficult for us and how to metaphorically stay still, take our seat, stay in the middle of it, and not be overcome by the inner strength. Oh no, not be overcome. So that's second sentence. So like that's extremely important, which is something that I learned, and a lot of our culture and society is avoidance. Avoidance with distractions or with things that take away pain, etc., or of a conflict. And I have trained myself to be extremely comfortable in sitting in the fire. So what you do here is you do not avoid, like you confront, essentially, and you sit with it. And it's funny when you confront somebody, a bullshitter, with pure calmness and logic, and they start squirming because they're not used to being confronted. They're used to abusing. But you sit in that moment with them and you stare them dead in the eyes, in the window to the soul, and you stare into their soul and you welcome them to say whatever they want to say to you, and you sit in it, and then you watch them wither, and then you offer them a bit of kindness once they've been completely defeated. So basically the practice of sitting in the fire, showing up to what is very difficult for us, and how to metaphysically stay still. I don't know. Take our seat, stay in the middle of the fire, and not to be overcome. So find the inner strength, the stillness, the inner capacity to expand and continue to expand and to continue to expand and to continue to expand. And that's called endurance. To stay with what is difficult rather than get distracted. Then things become peaceful in the meditation. People around you insisting you should join them in their anger, joining them in their gossip, in their greed, in their non-harmonious behavior. Heroic is to say, I'm going to maintain a peaceful life and I will be present for what's happening, but I am not going to give in. Faith begins in the practice. Confidence moves us forwards. Then commitment, strength, courage, to not be tense, to engage in a peaceful way, but to show up within an embodied energy. It says I put Buddha guard. I don't know what that means, like Buddha and guard. It's kind of interesting. Like, you're your own guard. You guard yourself. You guard yourself against their propaganda and their AI and their bots and their bullshitters and their illogical reasoning and their destructive choices and their attempts to steal your money. So I think that's a good one, and we'll do this one next time. So I think we covered a lot today. So let's remember that this is an evil force. Steve Witkoff, I just hit my reflex, that's why I laughed. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, Steve Miller, Elon Musk, Larry Ellison, the Trumps. This is a satanic, evil, destructive, thieving, aggressive force. They will stop at no end, but to destroy and take everything. They are the terrorists. They need to be destroyed. Do not listen to their bullshit until you have at least $3 million in your bank account. When you have $3 million in your bank account, that's it. And you don't have to listen to anybody's bullshit. That's it. Until then, they are not your friends. They are doing nothing for you. When you have your own money and you make your own decisions, that's all you need to know. Peace and love, everybody.